What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to SFon82. I'm Scott, Scotty, whatever you want to call me, just as long as you hit that like button on the way in, I appreciate you. Today's video, we are talking about a comic book that I've done a video on in the past, and it did really well for me. However, I just felt like I did not do the book very much justice. I feel like I could do a better job now, so we're going to revisit some adult erotica in comic books with Cherry Poptart. So I hope you guys will stick around. Now, what is Cherry Poptart? For anyone who is unfamiliar, Cherry Poptart is a series that surrounds a main character. Her name is Cherry. Cherry is a blonde, upbeat, promiscuous female character who doesn't have a sexual preference. And this is in an age where this wasn't of the norm. Keep in mind, this is the early 80s. And she never had a steady boyfriend. She very rarely kept a boyfriend beyond a few panels, actually. And Cherry does not have an age, but perpetually just turned 18. And she is a high school student, though this can change without warning to fit the story and scenarios. Some of the other characters include Cherry's mom. Her sister appears in one issue, Cinnamon, LED, Lollapalooza, and Patty Melts, plus many other characters. First published in 1982 by small press company Last Gasp, though she did appear for the first time 11 years previous in the underground comic titled Funny Book Issue 1 in 1971. The series started off in issue 1 as an anthology featuring 3 different stories. One was featuring a character by the name of Trina Tron, while the other 2 strips featured strips from other underground cartoonists, Larry Todd on Erotica and Jay Kinney on the Wholesome Twins. The comic later became largely revolved around Cherry and her friends. Starting in issue 3, the book was retitled Cherry, in response to threats of legal action by Kellogg's over its Pop-Tarts line, the Pop-Tarts trademark, though inside the comic, the name Cherry Poptart would still be used, but it would never be used on the cover from issue 3 on, and she was generally referred to as Cherry. Issue 8 featured a character named LED in a Wizard of Oz parody called LED in the Land of Woz. This was originally planned to be a spin-off, but instead ran in the pages of Cherry. Tundra Publishing also published a spin-off series titled Cherry's Jubilee. This contained stories from a variety of creators, including Marv Wolfman. In 1993, Kitchen Sink Press took over from Last Gasp as a series publisher from issues 14 through issues 19 of Cherry. They also reprinted the first 13 issues, including Cherry's Jubilee. In 98, Larry Welz formed Cherry's Comics, which issued Cherry Deluxe, an anthology similar to Cherry's Jubilee. Really cool fact for you, the first issue of Cherry's Deluxe featured a story from Neil Gaiman. Sadly, no further issues followed. Cherry Comics took over publication from issue 20 on, and again, they went back and reprinted all the previous issues leading up to issue 20. Now, there has been a lot of success and controversies surrounding this series, including the whole Kellogg's deal over the Pop-Tarts trademark that I talked about a few minutes ago. But for fear of accusations of creating underage pornography, Wells included this disclaimer from issue 2 on stating that all characters were 18 years or older. And you know, I mentioned that she had a sister, Cinnamon, earlier. She appeared in one issue, in issue 2, containing a single-page gag story in which Cherry's underage sister, Cinnamon, was insistent on not being allowed to have sex or do sexual things because she was underage. She never appeared in any issues after that. Concern was raised by Wells' publisher that if Cherry was depicted as being under 18, the strip could be classified as CP. I'm not going to actually say it in the video, but you guys know what I mean, underage stuff. The strip remains to be the only appearance of Cinnamon, like I said just a second ago. So you never see her again from there on. This was kind of crazy to me when I was doing my research. Listen to this. On August 30th, 1990, the owner of a comic shop in Jacksonville, Florida, was arrested after an undercover police officer purchased a copy of Cherry Anthology #1 from his store. The comic was ruled obscene by the judge under the same statute which had befallen records by Florida rap group 2 Live Crew. The shop owner pled not guilty, claiming he was unaware of the material being ruled obscene in Florida. That is crazy. But it was different times back then. You have to keep in mind. And there have been things put in place to help out, which we will talk about here in just a second, with issues such as this. Copies were also being seized by Canadian police from a Toronto store in February of 1991, along with issues of Omaha, the cat dancer, which we may touch on in a future video. It was another example of adult erotica in comic books, featuring a cat who was a stripper, for lack of better words. But the titles produced by Eros Comics and many other titles were considered under this whole deal, which was absolutely just crazy to me. This and other busts led to the creation of the Comic Legends Legal Defense Fund, creating the anthology comic The True North to raise funds for store owners facing legal charges. Cherry has been featured as a spokesmodel for this defense fund and has been promoted within its pages. Now, there were other plans for the character Cherry, such as in the late 80s, Wells made a few attempts to make film versions of this popular underground series. It was initially planned as a low-budget porn film, and it was going to star Tammy Monroe as Cherry. Wells withdrew after realizing the production was a generic porno, so can't blame him there. Moving on, Lightning Productions planned a Cherry Poptart film in 1990, co-produced by Wells and Charles Webb, intended to be an R-rated film, and reportedly attracted interest from Columbia Pictures as well as New Line Cinemas. However, this never made it into production. Though the series is no longer running today, you can, however, go to cherrycomics.com, and Larry Welz is still alive and creating artwork. You can find original sketches on there, as well as comic books, prints, and many other things by the artist Larry Welz. And you can get all the reprints of Cherry Poptart. So if you've never checked out this amazing title and you would like to, you can get some awesome reprints of this book featuring the original cover, featuring variant covers by Rose Besh, Peach Momoko, and other artists. So be sure to hit up cherrycomics.com and support Larry Welz and his amazing art. Thank you guys so much for checking out my video, revisiting adult erotica in comics. I hope maybe you learned something from this video or had a little bit of fun. That's my hope, is that there's a takeaway from this video, that maybe you learned something today that you didn't previously know. I will be coming back to you guys with another video featuring adult erotica in comics very soon. So be sure you hit that like and the subscribe button. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.